Okay, Bhante.
Okay. People in Edmonton, they can join now. Nimal and Chitra in Edmonton.
Well, I'll see if they're here.
Okay?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to see now?
Okay. Friends, let us begin station first as we announced yesterday, and then first half an hour we continue our meditation, and then we start the Dhamma talk. Let's be with our Metta recital. May all beings be happy and pure. May all beings have happy mind. Whatever living beings there may be,
without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far,
born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will, should anyone wish harm another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate one's heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment. Whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this, friends, let us now practice. Okay. All of you can be blowing my nose. Now, as we have decided, we want to wish what we have decided to come true. That is, may all those who are suffering from this COVID-19 be free of suffering. May their friends and relatives who all sympathize and suffer from the suffering, and all those who are helping the immense neighbors, friends and relatives remain healthy and happy. All those who are supporting otherwise financially, and those doctors, nurses, hospitals, helpers, they all dedicate their life, even the risk of their lives, and may they all be from pain, suffering, and any risk, and may they all have a healthy life. They have courage, understanding, determination, and patience to continue their selfless, wonderful, marvelous service. And those leaders who are making decisions have wisdom, compassion, understanding to make right decision for the benefit of all these millions of people suffering virus. With this metta thought, as we recited earlier, let us begin our practice. When we breathe in, we pay to undue mindfulness without using any words or concepts or ideas, simply attention, pure, simple, without greed, hatred, and delusion. This attention is called mindful attention. When we pay mindful attention, you don't need words, ideas. Just pay attention. As you breathe while paying attention, you notice the breath touch rims of your nostrils. Be aware of it. And then you notice the lungs expanding and your lower abdomen expand. As you breathe out, the lower abdomen contracts, chest area contracts, the breath leaves, you feel the breath leaving your nostrils. As you breathe out and breathe in, you notice a brief pause between inhaling and exhaling. Notice that. Again, notice. When I say notice, I simply mean paying total mindful attention. You feel the breath as you breathe in and out. You perceive the breath. You pay attention or you have volitional intentional attention. And you also experience consciousness. You are conscious, you are. All this happen as you breathe in. And they all change as you ingest. Similarly, without all change. None of them stays or lingers behind. They all change as you breathe in. With this, when you see this change, there is nothing to excite, nothing to reject, nothing to be upset. Everything is naturally flowing in a state of flux. Never remain even a fraction of a second behind to stay fixed. Nothing is fixed. Things are changing very quickly. And then your mind has to let go of this, letting go of all this as they come and go. Then your mind is even more relaxed. Then your friendly feelings becomes stronger. Knowing that there are so many people suffering this disease, you have these three states. You have joy, seeing the results of your practice, then happiness and concentration. Then your body is calm, relaxed and peaceful. Mind is calm, relaxed and peaceful. The mind also is concentrated. All this happen without using any particular word. Let them come and go, flow in and out. Whereas you can see even the subtlest changes taking place in a body, feeling, acceptance, thought, and consciousness. And this is the reality. There is no way that you can stop them. All we can do is be aware of them and let them happen. With this, we like to stop and continue our meditation practice. दुःखपत्ताच निर्दुःखा भयपत्ताच निर्भया शोकपत्ताच निःशोका hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear be struck free. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this very wonderful metta thought, we continue our practice. I want to start my talk on dependent origination. This is very difficult, profound subject. This is also called the middle path. You all are familiar with the middle path, starting with right understanding, right thought, and so forth. Samma Ditti, Samma Sankalpa, etc. That is the middle path that Buddha mentioned in the Dhamma Chakra Pavatana Sutta, the first sermon. Then he later on pointed out that dependent origination also is the middle path. Yesterday I mentioned dependent origination begins with ignorance. The Noble Eightfold Path begins with understanding. So now we have dependent origination as the middle path, in which we can see ascending order as well as descending order. We are explaining dependent origination from the ascending order, starting from ignorance. We talk on ignorance, and then sankhara, vijnana, ignorance, volitional formations, and consciousness. Now this talk is on mentality and materiality. Whenever we say dependent on mentality and materiality, sixfold base arise. And when we say sixfold base arise, we must remember mentality and materiality are there, because sixfold base don't operate without mentality and materiality. Materiality do not operate without mentality and materiality. Without mentality, materiality doesn't operate without consciousness. And therefore these three are very closely linked and connected. Now let us say what else Buddha said about this. The more we talk, more we think, clear it can be. Therefore, let me say this. Buddha said, Chesu loko samuppanno, chesu kubbati santavang, channa meva upadaya, chesu loko vihanyati. Chesu loko cha means six. I said salayatana, the word salayatana is sixfold base. Sa, la is used for cha. Chasu means in six. Loko means the world. I explain what the world is in this case. Samuppanno arise. The world arises in six. And Chasu Loko Chasu Kubbati Santavang. This world associate with six. The world is born in six, and the world associate with six. Channame upadaya. Therefore, this world clinging to the six, chasuloko vihanyati. This world grieves. Now, that means this world is born in the six, the world associates with the six, the world clings to the six, and therefore the world grieves in the six. What are the six? I think you all understand the six. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. These are the six. And their respective objects are the world. Other six. The world associate with the six and holds on to, clings to the six, and therefore the world suffers, grieves because of this, depending on the six. The world here in the Arya Savinaya Buddha's teaching, the world is this one fathom body with its consciousness. That is the world. And it is this world with these six senses, five aggregates, are born in the six. This world with one fathom body with its consciousness, and that is the world. That world means us. I am a world, my friend here sitting next to me is another world, and you all are listening to me are worlds. Now there are more than 7 digits of worlds now, more than 7. I don't know the status of worlds, worlds in reality, but I heard more than 7.5 billion worlds are there. They all associate, they are all born in this six. In these six, what are the six? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And then these six associate with them. We associate with our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And we cling to these eyes, ears, tongue, body and mind. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And therefore we grieves, suffers and laments because of these eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And this is the world. Now the world, when the Buddha said world is suffering, this world is that suffers. It is this world that is born, samuppanna. This world associate with these six. This world cling to these six. This world therefore suffers because of this clinging. to these six. And sometimes clinging to this called upadana. Sometimes we call pancha upadana, five clinging aggregates. In this discourse, Buddha, this particular stanza, Buddha mentioned that there are six that these worlds cling to. Now, a person is in these six. The person associates with these six. The person cling to these six. A person suffers because of this clinging to these six. This is a very wonderful statement. So, now how mentality and materiality combine together in this world. For instance, when I use myself, and you all can relate to that. When I see with these eyes, contact, feelings, perceptions, thought, and attention arise at the and what I see is earth element, water element, air element, and fire element. That is what I see. However, I cannot see earth element, air element, water element, fire element. I can infer, I can know earth element through its characteristics, hardness, softness, occupying space, and so forth. Through these characteristics, when I see an object, these are the things that mind knows through the eye, through the contact of the object. Hardness, softness, occupying space, and so on. Then, how can I know that? There is a contact. Eye, visual objects, consciousness, and then contact arises. So contact belongs to mentality category. In the mentality category, there are five things. Remember? Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikara. Contact, feeling, perceptions, thoughts, and attention. These are the five. When I see an object, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, volition arises, and attention arises. All the five mental factors arise along with the physical factor. What is physical factor? The eye. Similarly, when I hear a sound, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, thought arises, and attention arises. I cannot hear anything without paying attention. Even though there may be many sounds, I have to focus my mind on particular sound for me to hear it clearly. When I smell something, when I smell, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, thought arises, and attention arises. Without paying attention, I don't smell. When I taste something, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, thought arises, and attention arises. When I touch something with the body, any object, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, thought arises, and attention arises. When I think of an object that I have thought before, that's called mental objects or mind objects or Dhamma in Pali. When I think of a thought or memory of something with the mind, uh, we use the mind for many things more than any other object in any other sense, and therefore it is impossible to list the things that I think. When I think, contact arises, feeling arises, perception arises, thought arises, and attention arises. These are the mentality group. So, Buddha said, when mentality and materiality, materiality come as a one group. Now, none of them can I know without consciousness. So, mentality, materiality in one group, and consciousness is another group. That's what I mentioned in Mahahattipadopama Sutta, when the Sariputta gave a simile of two bamboo sticks. One bamboo stick is mentality, materiality bamboo stick. Other bamboo stick is consciousness bamboo stick. And these two must come together in order for them to support each other. They support from the top, and it is grounded on the ground. And when one bundle of bamboo sticks pulls, all other falls. Similarly, when I see, hear, smell, touch, and pay attention, if there is no consciousness, none of them can work. I have to have attention. I have to have consciousness. Consciousness itself does not exist by itself. Consciousness cannot exist by itself. It needs the support of mentality, and materiality category. So, and that is why consciousness cannot stand by itself. We cannot talk about pure, simple consciousness existing independent of others. Consciousness arises depending on something else. That is why Buddha called consciousness as 6 types. In Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha said consciousness is named after the sense that consciousness originates from. For instance, when we see an object, we have eye consciousness. When we hear a sound, we have ear consciousness. When we smell something, we have nose consciousness. When we have tongue, when we taste something, we have tongue consciousness. When we physically touch something, we have body consciousness. And when we think of something, that we have mind consciousness. They are called Chakku Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, Gana Vijnana, Jiva Vijnana, Kaya Vijnana, Mano Vijnana. There is no Chitta Vijnana, but Mano Vijnana. You remember in my earlier talk, I mentioned 3 words are used for the same thing, 3 names. Chitta, Mano, Vijnana. Chitta, Mano, Vijnana. All these 3 names, 3 words used synonymously for the same thing. However, in explanation, we use them as in different places depending on the context. And these names we use in different places depending on the context. Anyway, this simply means that we are in touch with the external world through these 6 senses. We are So, that is why Buddha said, Chasu loko samuppanno. Since we are in touch with the rest of the outside us, as we get in touch with the outside, the world is born through the eye. The whole world is born through the eye. Visual world. When we hear a sound, auditory world is open. Auditory world is born. When we smell something, olfactory world is born. When we taste something, tactile, or what do you call taste?
Flavor?
Huh?
Flavor?
Flavor, okay. World of flavor is born. When we touch something, the world of tangibles is born. When we think of something, the world of thought is open or born. Now, any moment we will be born in one of these worlds. Auditory worlds, visual world, uh, olfactory world, world of flavor, world of touch, and world of thought. And what do we think? We associate with them. When we are born in them, we associate with them. What else we can associate with? We have to associate with our sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought. So 6 worlds, we are in touch with these 6 worlds. And it is these 6 worlds that we cling to. We cling to what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch, and what we think. We cling. Upadana. We cling. And then, because of this clinging, of 6 type of clinging, 6 types of clinging to the 6th world, we suffer. Chasuloko samapano chatukubad channameva upadaya chasuloko vihanyati. We grieve holding on to these 6 types of words. We hold on to them and we grieve, we suffer. Wonderful teaching. If you think for 1 minute of this, you listen to this again and again, and you think about it again and again, the more you think about it, the more delightful you will be with the teachings of the Buddha. And he did not leave out anything. At the same time, this is the central theme. We see the dependent origination. Depending on eyes, we see the visual world. Depending on ear, auditory world. Depending on smell, olfactory world. Depending on tongue, the world of flavor. Depending on the body, tangible world. Depending on the mind, the world of thought arises. The world, not only 1, 2, 3. When you say world, you see the amount of images that arise in your mind, and that arises. And at the same time, these worlds disappear. These worlds appear, and these worlds disappear. And without not seeing this appearance and disappearance, is called ignorance. Ignorance. But those who see only arising, they go to one extreme. And those who see only passing away, they go to another extreme. But the middle path, I said at the beginning, Buddha taught the middle path. Dependent origination is a middle path. You don't go to arising extremes, you don't go to passing away extreme, but you see both. This arises, this passes. This is the dependent origination formula. When this arises, this arises. When this passes away, this passes away. When this is, this is. When this is not, this is not. That is the formula of dependent origination. We must keep repeating this formula. In this, when we repeat this formula, there is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing fixed because they are rising and falling. Rising and falling. You see both. Seeing both equally is the middle path. Middle path. The Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta middle path shows right understanding and so on. Seeing this is right understanding. Seeing this middle path, this arises, when this passes away, this passes away, when this is, when this not, this is not. Seeing this rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling all the time, without falling into one extreme, seeing only rising, or to the other extreme, seeing only falling, we see it both equally. That is the middle path of the dependent origination middle path. So friends, this is what we have to remember all the time. Understanding that the sixfold sense base arise dependent on mentality and materiality is very important to overcome the notion of permanent self. That's the advantage. When this rises, this rises, this passes away, when this passes away, when this is, when this is not, this is not. There is something permanent, self, where is soul. It cannot have a place. It cannot exist. In this, when we see the dependent origination, that dependently on something arises and dependently on something passes away. That is what is happening. That is the whole universe, whole world. When you see this, where can you find self? Permanent? Self? No. But the word permanent, the word self or soul is very important word in our communication. When we want to talk to somebody, he is my friend. I say my. My I use in order to communicate. Myself gives the talk. There I say self. Not this picture or that picture, but myself gives the talk. Their self is very important. So we use this. Buddha himself has said in Potthapada Sutta in Digha Nikaya, at the end, this loka samanya, loka panyati, loka nirutti, the world concepts, world's ideas, world's names, they use in order to communicate with the world that we associate with. We associate with this world, we are born in this world, and we have to use the world's terms that all other worlds use. All these 7 or 8 billion worlds use these terms, and this world also uses this term. But it doesn't mean that it really exists. So friends, this may be enough for today's Dhamma talk. And once again, I want to take this opportunity to wish our suffering patients who are victims of this COVID-19, and we want to wish this COVID-19 comes to an end very quick, like everything else. It comes to an end, but sooner the better. And may people who are suffering from this be free from that. And some people have passed away. Their friends and relatives are still grieving. May they be free from their grief through the understanding of Dhamma. And there are many thousands of wonderful, friendly people, compassionate people, professional persons who are trying to help these people like doctors, nurses, engineers, chemists, and so on. Chemists are trying to find some solution, some vaccine or something, or pills, and some of them have already discovered something, and they are in experimental stage. And may they all be successful, and may they come up with the solution very quickly. At the same time, I should not forget the people in power, political and otherwise, leaders of countries who can make decisions for the world, for their countries, for the suffering people. May they have wisdom to make right decision, and may they have compassion and understanding to think of the suffering that these people go through, and may they come up with their wonderful ideas and help the world, and may all of them be well, happy and peaceful, liberated from suffering. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you continue. Tomorrow I continue this series of talks exactly at 10:30, and then I hope you all will join me.